Hello everyone, I'm so glad that you are here. And I know why you are here. You are here because you want that dream IT jobs of yours. And the problem you're going through is you really don't know the right track to get there, to get to that success. That is why we have designed this course for you. In this course, I will teach you first is what are the different fields of IT. I will teach you how to pick the right field. Then I will teach you how you could brush up or gain knowledge or get those expertise. I will help you build that resume. And then I will help you apply. I will tell you all the different avenues where you could go and apply for that IT job. My name is Imran Afzal, and I've been in IT since 2001, and I've been teaching over 10 years now, and I have helped hundreds and thousands of my students get that dream IT job. I did my bachelor's from Baruch College, City University of New York, and I did my MBA from New York Institute of Technology. I have the right academic background, I have the right technical background, and I will actually help you significantly get that dream IT jobs of yours. So let's go and take that journey together. Welcome back. So we already talked about the main three IT components. Number one is hardware, number two is operating system, and number three is the application that runs on top of it. Without these three components of IT, you really cannot have a computer operational. So now let's talk about what are the other fields of IT or what are the other IT components. All right, the very first one that I have in line is the software. So we talked about the application, right? That we run on the operating system. So there are people who actually manages that application. But what about those people who actually develop those applications? And those people are called programmers and developers. So of course, someone has built that application and now someone has to manage it. Just like if you have a car, someone builds a car, now you have to drive it or manage it. You have to change its oil, you have to make sure it gets all the maintenances done on time. So that's why the programmers are the one who actually build the code. And the programming could be C++, Java. There's so many programmings that actually goes behind building an application. The next component is the networking. Okay, so let's say if you have one computer and you are using your applications and you're happy, you don't want it to connect to any other computer or outside. Perfect, beautiful. But now that's not how the world works now. Everybody is connected through computers. So when you need to connect one computer to another, what do you need? You need a cable. When you have to connect more computers, you need a switch. When you have many more, you need a router so it knows where to route it. Just like you have at your home, you have a modem that gets you outside of your home. So now, question is, who manages that? That's when the opportunity comes in for those people who wants to look into networking field. So if you wanted to be a network engineer and you are into switches, routers, firewalls, then look into the networking field. Now, the next IT component is the database. What exactly a database is? When you have a lot of data in your computer, you need to retrieve that data every once in a while or very often, let's say. Sometimes you have to open the application, it takes time to retrieve that data. So now comes in a database. So people have invented this, it's actually an application as well, but now it's named as database. So people actually manages it as well. It has schema, it has tables, so you put all the data into the database. And then the database administrators, let's say if you decide to be a database guy, then you will manage their data. You will build them in the right field, you put them in the right field, which data goes to where, and you will do the installation, the configuration of database. What are the examples of database? You have Oracle database, you have IMf&x database, you have SQL database. Those are the database that actually have dedicated jobs. Okay, what is the next component? Now comes in the security piece. Now you have a network, you have your data, now you need to protect it because you are out there on the network, you have a bunch of computers connected to each other. What if you get it affected by the virus or threat? You have to protect it, right? So then you there are many companies who actually have a dedicated team who only deals with security. So there are so many security jobs. I want you to go find them. And there are so many application related security jobs as well. So if you are kind of guy you feel like you could do a very good cop job, that's the best course for you. Sorry, the best field for you. Okay, what's the next one? Next one comes into storage piece. What is the storage now? Storage is, let's say if your computer has 100 gig of memory, 100 gig of disk space, and now you're out of it. What do? You go to, any store, an electronic store, and you buy an external device, an external storage, and then you start storing it. But in the corporate world, they don't use external devices. They actually use a bunch of computers, a large, big shelf computer, which has all these drives in. And the reason they do it because it has redundancy. The most important thing for any company is its data. So protect the data. They have those bigger storage computers that only keeps the data. Now, that storage, that shelf, which that storage runs, there has to be someone to manage it, and there is that opportunity for you. If you're kind of guy, you like to be in storage and you want to do management of the storage, there's so many storage like EMC, Hitachi, NetApp, so like that, there's so many of them. Look into it and see if that is a field that you would like. Then goes, next one is the virtualization. That's another IT company, another field of IT. And virtualization, what that really is, let's say if you have a physical server and it runs only one operating system. But what if you wanted to run 2, 3, or 4 operating systems? Of course, back in the days, you had to buy multiple hardware to run one operating system per server. But now, since we have this virtualization, you could run multiple operating systems on one single hardware. Isn't that cool? Yes, it is. So there are people who manage that, and that's an opportunity for you. So go look for what are the virtualization technology out there. And for me, I think that VMware is one of the #1 virtualization platforms. So look into it. But there are many others too. Of course, I'm not favoring one or the other. All I'm saying, there are these different companies that build virtualization. There's a Red Hat virtualization, Oracle, Citrix virtualization, Microsoft has virtualization. So look into it and see if you like that field, and start investing it. And the last one that I wanted to talk about is cloud, which is very recent. Everybody talks about cloud. So if you want to be in cloud, cloud is basically based on virtualization. So it's a bunch of computers connected together somewhere out in some data center, some location, which you could never touch or never you need to manage if you're running your application. But if you want to be the person who wants to manage, design, and build all that, then you need to learn how the cloud administrator or engineer or architects, what are the jobs. There are the cloud examples I could give you, like Azure Cloud, like Amazon Cloud, Google Cloud. You could be the user, or you could be the person, the administrator who can manage that. So look for the cloud jobs. So anyway, here are the things that we covered. The developers who actually develop that software. Then coming the networking, then the database, then the security, then the storage, the virtualization, and the cloud. So there might be a few more, but I'm only picking the ones that are really, really in demand, and most of the people actually go into these fields. So please, one thing I would advise you, please do spend 30 minutes on every one of those that I have talked about, all these IT components, and try to understand what these are. There are many online resources you could find. Even you could look it up on YouTube. That's perfectly fine. You could look it up and find out what exactly networking field is, and you'll find it. And the last thing I want you to do, once you decide this is the field I have to pick, then please stick with it. Don't go jump around from one field to another, because at the end you're not going to learn anything and you're going to waste your time. So stick with one field. I'll see you in the next lecture. Hello folks, and welcome back. Let's talk about the importance of understanding the job titles. Yes, you probably know everything about what are the different components of IT, what is a hardware, what operating system, storage, networking. Awesome. You understand that. That's a basic thing. Now, the second thing is that once you know all that, you need to understand what are the titles for those jobs. So let's say if you wanted to become a medical profession and you wanted to deal with foot and you wanted to be a foot doctor. Now, are you going to go and look for a job as a foot doctor? No, right? You're going to look for a job for a podiatrist. Similarly, if you wanted to deal with the children's health, you'll go for a pediatrician title. Just like that, I have a list of all the titles that I could think of in this piece of paper that I'll go over. I will skip on some of them, but if you wanted a list of every titles that I have, you could definitely find in the description of this video. So let's go over on a few of them. First one I have is a computer engineer or computer technician. These are the one who deals with the hardware. Anything goes wrong with the hardware, you want to change the CPU, memory, motherboard, if you want to change that, they are the one who deal with that. So if you want to in this field, look for computer hardware engineer or help desk support or computer technician. Then we have a computer technical support specialist, which is very much go along with the hardware engineer, but they also deal with somewhat on operating system. Then I have system administrators who specifically deal with Linux and Windows, or systems engineers as well at a higher level, or systems architects. Application administrators who manage the application. Network administrators, data architect, solution architect. Solution architects are those who actually design the solution to be presented to a customer. Then we have site reliability engineer, people who deal with the data center. Now you have a bunch of computers, you're not going to have them in your house, or you're not going to have in your office where you actually work. You're going to have a separate dedicated data center location. And now who's going to manage those at the data center? Those are the people, site reliability engineer. Then we have business intelligence developer, programmer, information technology manager, web developers, IT consultants, and so on. The list keeps going on. Now, please remember, this is not just a complete list. My list could not be a complete list either. There might be a few other titles, and those titles keep coming in every day as people generates those new opportunities. So anyway, it is very important once again for you to understand those titles and then search for those jobs. Hello again, and let's talk about putting your skin in the game. What that really means is I want you to invest something that is really valuable to you in this entire process of getting the job. If you're probably thinking, hey, I got Imran's course for maybe $10 or $200, and maybe 2 or 3 days later while I'm going through the course, I'll just quit it or I do something else. So this is not putting enough in the game. So let's say if I ask you, give me $5,000 or $10,000 right now, and I will tell you how to get a job in IT. I am sure you will stick around and listen to everything that I have to say. Because you know why? Because you spend that much money. Your skin is in the game now. Warren Buffett, who's the biggest investor, I'm sure you heard of it. Warren Buffett tells this and uses this phrase all the time. He tells people who actually working for the bigger companies and who are big CEOs and all that, they tell them to put the skin in the game by investing their own money to the stock so they know how valuable it is for them when they lose money or when they gain money. When people investing in a company, they put that money into their stock, right? So when they lose or the stock goes down, it hurts them. So he wants them to feel the same sentiments. So what I want you to do is, let's say if you buy my course right now, which you have, and let's say average you put in, or you bought my course for $50. Now, is that enough skin in the game for you to go through the entire course or to go through your entire search for the job? I don't think so. So what I want you to do is I want you to stop working whatever you're doing for 2 weeks. Whether you are driving cab, whether you're doing an odd job, or whether you're working for a corporate world and you want to level up, whatever that you're doing, stop for 2 weeks. That will take you away for 2 weeks paycheck. That is putting your skin in the game. And then listen to exactly what I have to say and follow it through. Then I could tell you that you will achieve and you will be successful whatever that you want to do. I'll see you in the next lecture. I, Imran Afzal, or in your case, your name, want to be a programmer, a developer, or a VP, or a network administrator, whatever that you want to become. I want you to write that down, and with the time frame, in how much time? In 6 months. I want to be network administrator in 6 months. I want to be database administrator in a year, whatever the time. Be reasonable. Write it down. Then write down small steps to achieve that goal. So if you're writing down in that 6 months, what are you going to do? I'm going to take this course. I'm going to take this diploma. I'm going to talk to these IT folks. I'm going to take this online class. I'm going to talk to those many people. Whatever your road plan is. And by the way, we will go through this road plan together as well. But I want you to write it down, whatever that comes in your mind, and reasonable plan. Write it down. Because I have experienced in my life that every time I have written anything on the piece of paper, I have achieved it. I have accomplished it. Many times what I do, I write down on multiple pieces of papers. There is one on my bedroom, there's one in my car. Actually, there's one right now in my car visor. Every time I pull down the sun visor, I see my goal. So I have different hidden places wherever I know that I go to more often. I put down that piece of paper what I want to be, what do I want to achieve, and in what time. So I want you to do the same thing, please. And I know I could assure you this works. Whatever that you want to be in life, whatever job, IT job that you want, write it down right now. I'll see you in the next lecture. Hello and welcome again. In this lecture, we're going to cover the importance of not being jealous of others, but instead following them. What that really means is you probably have friends, relatives that are successful, already have the job in IT. They probably took a course, or they probably know someone who helped them out achieve the goal, and now they're probably earning six-figure salary. And you look at them and you say, I want to be like that person. I want to be like her. I want to be like him, whatever the person is. That is a good thinking of that you wanted to be like him or her. But I really don't want you to be jealous about that person at all, because once you start having that feeling of jealousy, you will never, ever achieve your goal. And now you're probably thinking, hey, Imran, we're learning here how to get an IT job, and you're giving me a lesson about, behavior and ethics. The reason I have included this lesson is because I have seen people, and I've seen people, my students even, they have come up to me and they actually given me reference of other people. Hey, I have a friend who has this type of job. How come he got it? I want to be there. That is why I'm adding this into this course. And again, I'm going to reiterate here. Do not be jealous about that person. Instead, I want you to go to that person. Get their advice. Sit with them. Ask them, hey, John, I'm really, really proud of you, what you have achieved in life. Can you please spare some of your valuable time, sit with me, and walk me through some of the steps that you have taken in your life to be successful and to be where you are today? If you go through with that person with this tone and with this request, I guarantee you that person will sit with you and will teach you everything that you need to know. And that will help you significantly. So again, in life, we all know this advice that I'm giving you is actually applicable to anything that you do. When you actually look at someone's success and you want it to be that successful, follow their path. Don't be jealous. Don't say, oh, I don't want it to go to that person and talk to that person. I want to beat him. No, don't do that, please. So take my advice, and I'm really, really sure that it will work for you. Thank you. I'll see you in the next lecture. Hello everyone. Let's talk about another common question that an interviewer would ask you, and that is, why are you leaving your job? If you have been laid off or you're a contractor and your contract has been ended, then it's perfect that you could say that, hey, I've been laid off. I was part of the layoff people who got laid off from my company, and that's why I'm looking for a job, or that's why I'm leaving this job. Also, my contract has ended. My contract was for 6 months or for 2 years. Now it's coming to an end, and that is why I'm leaving my current job. Again, there is nothing wrong with that. You could say that. That's perfectly all right. Now, for those people who are actually don't like their boss, I'm sure a lot of people don't like their boss, then how do you handle a situation like that? And you have to be honest, right? So how do you handle it? So I could give you a few tips how you could handle it. Number one is, you could say that the amount of work that I do for this company and for my boss is undervalued. I believe I'm not getting the motivation, I'm not getting the recognition for the amount of work that I have done so much. Also, you believe that your management had a different direction. So I'm interested in working in a more collaborated way or more collaborated environment. And I'm a kind of guy, I could go to my boss and I could say, hey boss, listen, let's do things this way. I could do it once, I could do it twice. But if I get a kind of like a rejection all the time when I go, I'm not the kind of guy who will argue about it. Also, I have a desire to learn, but with my current management, it seems impossible. So there is no training resources. I wanted to learn, I wanted to improve my skills, but there are no training budget, no training resources from my boss, or nobody, or the leadership doesn't approve it. If you're working too much or your boss is making you work too much and you don't like it, so you could simply say that, hey, I have a desire, I'm looking for a job where I could have my life and work balance. And I do see that sometimes I've been working like so many hours all day that I don't even find time to spend time with my family. So I think this is the right time and right moment that I should move on. That's how you could put it on if you have a problem with your boss. Now, if you are leaving your job because this new job is giving you a lot of money and you wanted to be honest about it, then you could be honest about it. But how you want to put it, I'll tell you how you should put it. You should say, I have been working for this company XYZ for like 5 years, 10 years now. And I do not see myself grow financially. I have a family to support, and I believe everyone deserves to be to do good for their family, to support their family in the way they deserve it. So I believe this new opportunity that I have will give me everything that I'm looking for. So that is why I'm looking to leave my job. Beautiful put, right? So that's how you have to answer that. Now, there are other things too as well, like if you are leaving your job because of the job nature, you just don't like the job, you could say, I think I'm keep on doing the same thing again and again, and I feel like I'm in like an assembly line. People who are on an assembly line, they do the same thing every day again and again. Maybe you're not that type of person. You are innovative. You wanted to do more. You want to think outside of the box. That's why you think this new opportunity will give you that. So that's why you're leaving this existing job. You wanted to take on more responsibility, for example. So right now, what you have, what you've been doing, doesn't give you a lot more power, more responsibility. And this new job, you've been through the job description, gives you everything. Anyway, there are so many different reasons that you could say why you are leaving your job. But only thing that I would tell you guys, please be honest about it and do not make up anything. Just try to say it right. So at the end, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I hope this will help you. I'll see you in the next lecture. Hello everyone. Let's talk about another favorite question a hiring manager would love to ask. And that is, what are your strengths? Well, to answer this question, I really want you to make a list of all the strengths that you have. Now please remember, I want you to be honest with you and write down all that list. Then once you have the list of your strengths, then I want you to put it into 3 different categories. Category 1, I want you to put them into knowledge-based skills. Category 2, transferable skills. And category 3, personal skills or personal traits. Now, what goes where? First of all, knowledge-based skills are the ones that you actually get from like education and experience, like computer skills or any language that you have learned, degrees, training, technical ability. Whereas transferable skills are the skills that you actually gain from job to job, like communication skills, people skills, analytical problem-solving skills. Then comes the personal traits. Sometimes personal traits have a lot more power than these. People are really asking you about your strength on your personal. So personal strengths are like dependable, you're flexible, you are a team player, you are very hardworking, you're an extrovert, you're friendly. Those are all the personal traits. Put them into each of these categories, then come up and pick the most accurate one that goes with you. And then define the way, or remember a situation in your life that you actually exhibited that quality, that skills, or that strength in through the example. A few of the examples that I could give you that you could also refer to are like respectful, enthusiasm, discipline, patience, trustworthy, creativity, determination, dedication, honesty, and versatility. And I'm sure there are a lot more out there that you could find, but I really want you to pick the ones that really describe you. And that becomes your strength, and that's how you could present it to the hiring manager. What are your weaknesses? A lot of people look at this question and say, oh my God, they're asking about my weaknesses. What if I tell my weaknesses and I don't get the job? Or something that I say could backfire. Well, there might be chances that it could backfire, but you have to know what you are saying. So let me make it very clear. There are 2 types of responses. There are 2 types of weaknesses that you have, and something that you should avoid and something that you should mention. Number 1 is the personal weaknesses. Second is the weaknesses that is related to your work that could be improved. So stay away from the personal weaknesses. You don't want to say, hey, my personal weakness, I do get angry really fast. You trust me, this will backfire and they will take it as a negative on your profile. So you don't say that. You don't want to say, hey, you know what? I come to work late. That's my weakness and I'm working on it. No, you don't want to say that, and you don't want to say you're working. They don't really want to know that you come in late, right? That's your personal thing, personal weakness, so don't mention anything about it. Always include things that are related to your work and that you do find those work-related weaknesses and that could be improved easily. So let's talk about, first of all, weaknesses that you should not say or should not mention. Few of them that I have written down right here on a piece of paper is that you should not say are, like I already mentioned, that I get upset really fast. I come to the office really late. I don't like to work with others. I have to be more respectful to others. These are all your personal things. I have to stop smoking while I'm at a job. Don't say these things. Now, what you should say and what are the actual weaknesses that are work related. Some of them are, I get a little annoyed when projects don't meet deadlines. That is perfectly fine. Even myself, I get annoyed because I have done all the work on my part, and now because of a few other people, the work didn't get completed. And I get agitated, and then the deadline is being pushed out, and it impacts the entire team. So that agitation, that annoyingness is valid, but again, you work as a team, so you're going to try to calm this down. So that's a weakness that you feel, and you're working on it. Another one is, I should be delegating more tasks instead of taking all the responsibilities. A lot of people have that problem, and I've seen that when people have the opportunity to delegate a few tasks or work with as a team, but they don't, they just wanted to take on all the responsibility, all the ownership of the project. That's something can be counted towards weaknesses. And you could say that's something I'm working on it, and recently there have been projects that I have involved, I have delegated to others, and it works perfectly. Another one is, I should be providing more constructive criticism. Like, a lot of people are afraid to provide that because they think other people might get annoyed or take it, in a negative way. So that's perfectly fine when you do provide criticism, critical ones, and as long as it has value. So that could go again towards your weaknesses, and then you could say that that is something I think I should be more into the providing constructive feedback. Another one is, I need to improve my documentation skills. See, another one more towards your work. Focus more on technology. I need to spend more time on, let's say, if your skills are not good on Microsoft Office, you need to learn more on Excel or Word. You could say that I will be spending more time, and I do think that is one of my weaknesses. Another one is, I am too detail oriented, or I'm a perfectionist. I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of you probably can relate to it. Oh yes, Imran is saying the right thing. I am perfectionist. When something is given, I go to all the way to the weeds. No, so you could say that as you're a perfectionist, and you could also say that I do feel that sometimes it's not good to be really perfectionist. Try to get things delivered on time, and that is something I'm working on. Another one is, I should improve my leadership skill. I should learn another language if this job requires that and I don't have it. That's the weakness, I think. Also, I'm being too nice. I cannot say no to a lot of people when I really don't have time. So that is something I think I should start saying no and focus more on other things. So you see, guys, these are a lot of things that you could say. I told you what not to say and what should say. But there is one thing I should tell you before I leave, and that is the most important thing. And that is being honest. What it really means is, all this entire list I gave you, don't just pick anything up and say, oh, you know what, Imran gave me a good list, I'm going to pick this up and say that. What I mean about honest is, you should really sit down, maybe in a quiet room, and find out what your really weaknesses are when you work in a corporate environment. Find that out and see if you could really improve on that. When you're going to give that an honest answer, that would be the best answer I could tell you. When you're honest to your own self, that would be the best thing.